the main points that I wanted to get across today were the big difference between the current tax tribunal regime and the old general commissioners, and the process as to how we get there, and the areas that the tax tribunals cover. Not just straightforward technical questions, but things like penalty notices and information requests, all of which are now being dealt with through that formal tax tribunal process. And I wanted to say something about the review letter process, because a lot of people in the audience I could see responding on that, people's experience of the review process, the review letter process, has not been strong. And I think the message I wanted to get over there is that the reason it isn't successful is because if the tax inspector writes a detailed decision letter and you just say, yes, I'd like that reviewed, you will typically get that same letter reposted to you by the review officer, because you're not bringing him anything new to reconsider. So if you are dealing with a review letter, you really do need to, at the very least, summarise your important points, because this review officer will not have seen the file at all. So you need to give him a brief summary of what the contentions are and what areas he needs to consider and why he should overturn the decision, because you're asking him to do quite a big thing, which is to overturn a colleague's decision. In relation to the tribunals themselves, I wanted to remind people that they can be very costly, that because it's much more formal, because the tribunal judge will not be a local businessman as was the past, he is very likely to be a tax barrister, and he will be very familiar with court procedure, and he'll pretty much expect you to follow court procedure. So if you're going into that arena, you may well want to engage counsel, which will become very expensive. But if you're looking to be the advocate for your own client, which you're perfectly entitled to be, then you do need to explain to the client that because of these new procedures, you will need to properly consider the law and tax cases, and you will need a proper bundle, and the client will more than likely need to give evidence and perhaps also supporting people. So you'll need proper witness statements. The client will have to be prepared to be cross-examined. The client needs to understand that the hearing is public, and that members of the public and members of the press can attend, and that the decision will be published, and that in publishing the decision, the judge may well make comment as to the client's credibility, honesty, and the advocate's credibility and honesty as a witness and in presenting the case. I think the common reporting standard will produce a lot of issues. There are, given the way our economy's worked, lots of UK guys have worked abroad. Lots of UK people have investments abroad. As simple as owning a Spanish villa, you would need a bank account to service that. And under the common reporting standard, I've seen lots of individuals receiving letters from HMRC because of transfers of information from Europe, Scandinavia, and America, North America. So lots of foreign nationals living here who might have a bank account at home, their original home, they've got issues. Very rarely have those individuals made tax disclosures, commonly because of their perception of the domicile rules. They've put nothing on returns. So there is a job to be done there. And there's also a job to be done where you've got clients who have worked abroad for a period, because they may well have legacy monies over there that need to be reconciled. So I think that common reporting standard will be a big feature of our work for the next 12 months.